got a moment. When they see you down, just know they love it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I got a special guest with me today. If you don't know who he is, you ain't been tuned in. It's my guy Mort Beazy from 43 AD. Speaking of 43 AD, man, free day heat.
Free day heat off the rip.
What's happening with that situation?
You know, it's open and there's a lot of media play, so there's not too much I can disclose, but from what's out there, like on Boston Live, Instagram, Paparazzi, this dude, it's like when James Harden told Lil Baby, hey, you famous, nigga. Once you get to a certain point, there's nothing you could really do. They're going to be on you. They're going to have you on camera. They're going to always try to use media play. You understand? But the focus today is police brutality. That's what we talking about.
Police brutality, even misconduct, right? Don't even got to be, brutalizing and everything like that. But, right. I mean, we got off to a little bit of a late start on your way over here. You had just encountered some stuff. We just got off the phone talking about how we're going to, talk a little bit about police misconduct and brutality, bro.
Now, one thing I learned about the policy, I got stopped by the Stadies, and it wasn't for really nothing. They just was, I know what they was trolling, but I got stopped by the Stadies, and one thing I learned about the Stadies is that they have the right to search your whip if you get a tow. That's in their policy. But the D-boys, the blue and whites, the regular locals don't. And they try to pull me out and whatever. They didn't even go to the drive. I wasn't even driving. I wasn't even operating the vehicle. They came right to my side and asked me for my ID. I'm like, I cooperated, whatever, gave it to them and shit. But then they try to pull me out. I'm like, for what? They're like, oh, are you going to consent to a search? Now, I did consent to a search because I know I didn't have nothing. I'm not doing nothing illegal. But it was already a illegal search and seizure. They have no reason to search you just because they stop you. Right. No matter what their suspicions are. That's your constitutional right.
You got any particular instances where they were maybe abusing their power?
Hell yeah, especially in the prison. But more in the prison than anything because you got to leave your guns at the door, gentlemen. So it's only hand-to-hand combat. It's mano-a-mano, and sometimes like these COs from fucking Worcester or fucking Shirley or fucking Sweaty Betty's. They don't want to fucking fight with me, bro. Or they don't want to fight with you. They don't want to fight with nobody. They come with the 12-man teams for guys like me because I go all day. But in the street, it's different. You fuck around and get shot. Like, I don't. Yeah. If I know I don't have nothing, if I know I'm not doing nothing I'm not supposed to do, I'm gonna consent to a search. Even though I know they're not supposed to do that, but you better off cooperating if you know you don't got shit. You understand?
Absolutely.
And even if, let's say you do got shit that you ain't supposed to have, hypothetically speaking, it's like know your U.S. Constitution, know your rights, exercise your Second Amendment, especially if you're an American and you don't have a record. The one thing I learned about this shit is that the system is trying to reduce the recidivism rate. Out of 100,000 people, every 100,000 people in Massachusetts is like one of the safest states right now in America. You know that? Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I seen something like that.
3.7 people get shot out of 100,000 people. There's 7 million people in Massachusetts. Do the math.
Right.
That's safe. We got one of the safest towns in the world in Mass. You know what town that is?
Newton?
Yep. Wow, how you know that?
Yep.
One murder happened there in fucking eons, and I know the nigga who's locked up doing life for it. You understand? So it's like, when you in a state like this, you got to understand that in a Commonwealth, even if you ain't woke, you still got to coexist with the laws that are governed, no matter what. But it doesn't mean that gives them the right to illegally search you, not have a probable cause, and beat you up. Whether it be the color of your skin or whatever it be. But that'd be mostly it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do the census for real, it's like, what, 14%?
Right. So do you think that
14% of people are black, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
okay,
like,
that sounds about right.
It's like 64% of people
in this country, right? Yeah.
And 14% of people are black. So do the math. If there's 7 million people and Massachusetts, how many people are black?
Right. And I take it this probably disproportionately happens more to black people, right? I don't see them doing stop and frisks like in Newton per se,
No.
right? Why do you think that is?
Unless they see someone like me.
Someone like you, meaning
Right.
what?
Meaning the color of my skin, the way I'm dressed, my mask, my hat, the way I move. I got tattoos on my hands, face. Somebody that they might use systemic racism or prejudice or however you want to, like, they're going to look at me and be like, what the fuck? We know you don't live out here. What are you selling drugs? Because what are they doing? Trying to stop the drug epidemic, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
Right, because most of us, let's be honest, come from a struggle in the inner city where we're forced to sell drugs. And who do we sell them to? People in Newton, people in Wilmington, people in Weymouth. And what are they? White people, young people, under 30.
Right.
Ivy League people. And what are they doing? ODing.
So what's like the worst instance that you've heard about, like personally, or somebody you know, as far as police brutality? Like, for instance, my cousin Ronnie, he got so many pictures, black and blue, bruised up, swollen, all from the police, man. I'm sure you must know plenty of people.
World, period.
I guess, period.
Well,
we'll start with that.
One dude, I don't know if y'all remember him. Remember the dude that had the mask on in court, that had the 2 black eyes, and they beat him up real bad? And yeah, that was, I forget his name, but that was probably the worst I ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was because he committed a crime against what? The police, allegedly. Committed a crime against the police, so they beat the shit out of you and give you an asshole full of time?
Right.
It's not even fair almost.
I mean, do you think they take that stuff a little bit more personal and they treat you a little bit different if you got a charge against like a police officer?
Absolutely, because they're one of the biggest gangs in America. They the legal gang.
Fact.
So when police will lock you up for committing crime, right? But not respect a rat. That's why I always say fuck rats, because they're not, even the police ain't gonna respect a rat.
Right.
Because you know why? The police ain't gonna rat on a gang. So if a cop rat on another cop, he's a rat. And what's the definition of a rat? Not a snitch. What's the definition of a rat?
Someone who tells on their people?
That sells their gang out. Even the animal itself, a long-tailed rodent, a rat, is somebody who will literally sacrifice their young to save themselves. That's why the rat is at the bottom of the totem pole and not respected. So when you give up, even in slavery back in the day, they don't respect infiltrators. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically like, if someone's trying to get through, mind your business type shit. Even when you go to prison, what happens? You don't look at nobody's cell.
Right.
You know why? Because if something's going on in there and they know you looked in there, you're going to be what? No matter what happens.
Right.
Either you're going to fall victim or you're going to be considered something, a rat, if they find out what happened. Like, I see a lot of these federal dudes talk about how real it is in the feds and this and that. It's like, it's all the same people we was with. Eventually eventually them dudes get old.
Yeah.
So the system changes, just like state prison. It used to be just like that in Walpole. It's not like that no more. There's no more Walpole.
Right. It's gone.
Nobody going to the box in what, 20 something. I was locked up from 2009 to 2021 straight.
Yeah. Crazy.
When I went to Walpole, they said, motherfucker, you know where you at? I didn't look in nobody's cell. I still had a fight too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're going to get tested and you're going to see what's real. Y'all know who I am. I'm Mort Beazy, man. I've been on there. Shout out to B. Luke.
Absolutely.
Shout out to getting this lit, bro.
Yeah.
Free day heat. And we got some shit really coming where it's like, police brutality needs to come to a fucking end, bro.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on something, too, that I kind of, when I was reading my paperwork about the cop pulling a gun on me, right? And I always wonder if things would have been different if I was maybe a darker shade, right? If I was black, if I was African American, because they had said they came up the back stairs. I had a 2-foot lead pipe in my hand. They told me to put it down, right? This is me reading the paperwork.
Did you refuse?
I did not put it down. I took a step towards them. They asked me again. I always think about that second time. If you know what I mean? I don't know if they say white privilege might be a myth, but I know I was white and I didn't get shot.
Did you have a beard and long hair?
At the time, I did not. No, I did not.
So the Bruins ain't in the playoffs, right? So I always heard from the real white dudes, right? Any real white dude always say, yo, don't trust a white guy with a weird beard.
Right.
Straight up, unless the Bruins are in the playoffs. So if you didn't have a beard and you didn't have long hair, because it's like white Hispanic, they probably would have let you. They probably would have like, this dude's not, that lead pipe's not going to kill nobody. But they're trained to shoot to kill. And you know who enforces that? The president, man. Stop the looting, we'll stop the shooting. Even a President Obama, even a black president. When they caught fucking Bin Laden, they went in there and killed him. They didn't let him, they didn't apprehend him. You understand? That's a whole nother country where there's a war going on. So when I tell you, like, even people of war crimes or domestic terrorists, if you that shade, if you just, like you said, a few shades darker, they'd have gave you one warning and blew you down.
Right. All I know is I'm not black and I didn't get shot, right? I can't prove a negative, right? Maybe that cop wouldn't have. I don't know. I can't prove a negative, but all I know is I'm white and I didn't get shot. And I always kind of look at that like, man, I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky, man. And we're going to touch a lot more on this. I'm doing a live, so we're going to touch on that. Unfortunately, it's just crazy how things happen. We were coming up here to talk about police brutality and misconduct, and then what happens, you hit me up, yo, Stadies pull me over and all this stuff, man.
Yeah, Stadies pull me over, man. They jacked me and shit. They fished up.
Hey, at least you made it, though. You can't say the same for everybody, bro.
The thing is that I didn't have nothing. I didn't have drugs. I didn't have guns. And the only threat that they really show was my record, obviously, and the color of my skin. But what a lot of people don't know is that when I caught my case, it wasn't a federal case, it wasn't a state case, it was Attorney General's office, and the main investigators and the people who took me down were state police.
Right.
So they don't like me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So they knew who I was.
Yeah.
As soon as I pulled
Stadies
up,
are the
Mr.
worst.
Brown.
Exactly.
Either they're a gang unit or DCU. There's not really much in between, and the state police go hand in hand with them. I even had another situation where, I don't want to talk too much because somebody's fighting a case now where they let us go and then pulled a move where something came up late. You know how like they give you your ID back after everything's good? Somebody came up with a warrant. You already knew that.
Wow.
So what is this, de-escalation? What are we using, the reform?
Yep. That's the game.
No, the door was locked. He tried to grab my man. The man took off.
That's what it is.
So we eluded them, right? And the reason that we didn't get locked up was because they let us go in the first place. There was no crime committed.
Wow.
So the only person that committed the crime was who? The state police. Because they did something that was unlawful.
All right.
Who are you? I'm like, yo, they about to blow us down. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Now, if you got a warrant, it's something different. Like, you got a warrant. That is what it is. But why did you wait till after you like it was just,
Yeah, we're gonna touch more on it on the live, guys. So make sure y'all tune in for that.
Yeah, tap
bro.
in, bro. My fault.
All right.
Bounce back, ain't got a moment when they see you down.